What's the role of reversing in maintaining your dermal fillers? So over time, we get cheek filler, we get chin filler, we get lip filler, and I love that. Except that sometimes we need to just go and do a little maintenance work. We just need to sweep it up a little bit. Why does that happen? So we now know that filler doesn't go away. It doesn't get metabolized. I know that all the inserts on the FDA approval packages say, oh, this lasts up to a year, up to 18 months. It only says that because that's how long the study was studying it. So they stopped studying it at, 365 days. That does not mean that at 366 days, that filler is not there. It didn't go away and you don't need to be retreated. If they say that, that's marketing and I'm going to call bullshit. What happens though is they stopped looking at it and therefore they say it lasts that long. So we now know filler doesn't go away. We can do an MRI. You can see that that filler is there for 10, 15 years. All right. It is still there. But it stops holding the structure that it once did. It doesn't have the integrity that it once had. And sometimes filler can move and migrate from where it once was. And in that way, also, I'll throw in there's also aging happening. So the tissues aren't as firm as they were because you're aging, and that filler can again move a little bit from where it was initially placed. So what do we do about it? It doesn't mean your injector did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you necessarily had too much. We just need to clean up what we no longer need, what's no longer serving us. We use an enzyme called Hylenex or hyaluronidase. That enzyme not only breaks down hyaluronic acid, but it also breaks down the hyaluronic acid that is in your own tissues. The good news about this, because people are a little concerned, like, well, if it breaks down my natural hyaluronic acid, am I going to have a divot or a deficit after you do this? Why? I just wanted to do the filler. I hear you. Unfortunately, I can't just reverse the filler. It's going to reverse anything it touches. Here's the great news. The great news is that over about 4 days, your body regenerates all its hyaluronic acid. It's constantly turning that over. And so when we stop reversing and then you give it a few days to replenish itself, you're going to get that volume back. So don't stress. However, that old filler is going to have been reversed and then gets flushed out through your lymphatic system. You won't even know about it. So when you come in and you've got filler that's migrated above the mustache, maybe you had some lower face work that is no longer serving you because as we age, we get rotational descent of the cheek. And so we can get heavier down here. So if you had jawline filler, maybe it's no longer serving you and we need to revisit that. We can come in with this hyaluronic acid, we can inject it. And it's a really great thing that we can see as we are reversing because its peak effect is 4 minutes and then it continues to work for the next 24 hours. It's kind of a crazy drug that way. So when I'm reversing, I kind of actually want to underdose on the reversing. I'm making my best guess because it's going to look even better the following day as it continues to work. And then we really see the full effect of what we're trying to achieve in about a week because we need your natural collagen to rebuild itself based on the stuff that we inadvertently reversed while we were reversing the filler. So no, I can't be pinpoint. Sometimes there are people reversing under ultrasound where they can find a pocket of filler. And that's a really great technique. When I'm looking at under eye, if you've had under eye filler and it's like, it was okay for a year or two and then all of a sudden it stops looking okay. And that's kind of a thing with under eye filler. Sometimes you can use ultrasound, although not always necessary because you can kind of see what you're reversing. Like you've got a big bubble there that needs to go away. I can just poke it and know that I'm going to get it. So I will say some people are reversing under ultrasound. That's a great technique. You can also just kind of see what you're trying to achieve. And that's also a fine technique. Both are very safe. Hyaluronidase is exceptionally safe. There's a very ridiculously low risk of allergy to it. We don't even skin test anymore because it's not an accurate way to gauge whether you're allergic to it. At any rate, do not be afraid of reversing old filler. I will say it does sting a little bit, and unfortunately, there's not a great way to block it. But that sting is very short-lived. As soon as I stopped injecting, the pain goes away. So while it's not the funnest thing on the planet, it's not the end of the world. And heck, you were able to sit through getting the filler in the first place. The reversing is a piece of cake.